Our favorite family dinner made even healthier. This easy turkey meatloaf is a cinch to make, and my secret ingredient keeps it moist and tender every time. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly with the Suburban Soapbox, and today we are making my favorite turkey meatloaf. It is the best, and I can say that because I've been making this meatloaf for over 20 years, and it has tons of hidden veggies in it to keep it moist, tender, and super healthy. My daughter, who hates mushrooms, never even knew that there was like a boatload of mushrooms in here until she was much older. So most of the ingredients you will already have in your kitchen. We like to use some rolled oats just to give it some texture and hold everything together. But your secret right here is finely minced mushrooms. It's very important that they're finely minced. Then the kids will never detect them. It looks like meat, it tastes like meat. It keeps it super moist and juicy. And then you're also going to need some lean ground turkey, not the extra lean because you need some of the fat in there to make it taste wonderful. So to start our meatloaf, we're going to move over to the stovetop, and I'm just gonna saute all the veggies together. So to start, we're going to add the olive oil to a saute pan, and we're going to cook that until it's shimmering over medium-high heat. Add the onions, and we're gonna cook the onions for about 2 minutes, just until they begin to soften. Then stir in the mushrooms. Once you stir in the mushrooms, we're just going to saute that for another 2 minutes. You just want to stir that occasionally. Once it starts to cook down, it's going to look like ground beef. This is your secret here. Next, we're gonna add the carrot, the garlic, and the Herbs De Provence. Herbs De Provence is just an herb mixture of thyme and lavender and some oregano. We're gonna cook that for another minute. Stir in the Worcestershire sauce and the tomato paste, and we're gonna make sure we stir that really well. Continue to cook that for another minute until the tomato paste starts to turn like a deep burgundy red. Immediately remove from the heat and let that cool for a few minutes. So our vegetables are now done, and you're going to want to let them cool for a little bit, just so that you're not like cooking your turkey or the egg or all the mixture as you're assembling it. But do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to add this to our turkey mixture and get this going. So we're going to need 2 bowls. You're gonna need a big bowl to do the turkey meatloaf itself. And so we're going to add the ground turkey to this bowl. And then to that, we're going to add the oats. And again, the oats hold everything together. Our parsley, salt and pepper, 1 egg, and then we're going to, I'm gonna break up that yolk a little bit. And now we're going to add our vegetables. And the best way to mix this up is with your hands. Just make sure your hands are clean before you dig in, and you just want to lightly fold everything together. Once you have it all blended together, then we're going to form it into the loaf shape in a baking dish. And I have a baking dish right here. Before you put your meatloaf in here, we're going to spray this with cooking spray and put in a layer of parchment. You can also use foil. That's going to help eliminate any sticking from the glaze, because the glaze has sugar in it. It's just going to caramelize on the bottom of your pan. So make your life easier and line that with either cooking spray and parchment, or foil. So I'm going to wash my hands and do that. All right, so I'm just going to set my bowl aside. I'll show you how to prep this pan. So coat the whole thing with cooking spray. And then we're just gonna take a piece of parchment. And the cooking spray is gonna help the parchment stick to your pan. And if you leave a little bit of overhang, that makes it easy to just lift your meatloaf out and put it on a serving platter if you want to serve it up that way. You're also going to spray the parchment, and then we're going to form the meatloaf in here. So we're just gonna add the meatloaf mixture to the pan and shape this into a loaf. So you wanna make sure that it's pretty much even from end to end so that the whole thing cooks evenly. The meatloaf is done. We're gonna wash our hands and now we'll make the glaze. Okay, so to make the glaze, we're going to use a separate clean bowl and we're going to add ketchup, some brown sugar. I like to use light brown sugar, but if you want maximum flavor, you can add dark brown sugar, which just has more molasses in it, so it's a little bit of a sharper bite. And just stir that together a little bit. And then vinegar. And whisk all that together. Now this is a double glazed meatloaf, so we're going to just glaze it with half of the glaze and pop it in the oven. So if you have any brown sugar lumps, just press them out with your whisk. You can actually make this glaze in advance. So I'd say like 24 hours in advance. It doesn't take that long to make, but sometimes people like to prep things in advance. So this definitely is one of those things you can make ahead of time. All right. So I'm just gonna spoon some of the glaze over my meatloaf. So now that our turkey meatloaf is ready to go, we're going to pop this into a 450-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Once you hit the 30-minute mark, we're going to put the rest of the glaze on and then continue cooking it for about 10 to 15 minutes. So our meatloaf is finished, and I'm so glad I lined the pan because we have lots of burnt glaze at the bottom. It's okay, we're not eating that part. So you want to let it rest for about 10 minutes before you cut into it, just so all the juices don't flow out into your pan. That makes for a very dry meatloaf. So now I'm just gonna take a bite. That is so good. It is super flavorful. You can taste the garlic and the herbs, and the glaze is like amazing. You should definitely make this. If you like this recipe, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. For more easy recipes, visit thesuburbansoapbox.com. Thanks again.